What kind of monster sells hunting permits for a little girl's pet bison, then sips coffee while trophy hunters gun it down? That's the question I was asking myself as I stared at a dead bison sprawled in the Montana dust, its blood pooling under a spring sun. Two camel-clad morons high-fived over its body like they just bagged a world record, and there, smirking behind them with a clipboard and a latte, was Linda Haverford, HOA president, neighborhood dictator, and the architect of my family's worst day. This wasn't just a tragedy, it was a war, and I swore then and there it wouldn't end quietly. Life on our ranch had been damn near perfect 2 days before. The pastures stretched wide, golden, wildflowers popping up like nature's confetti. My daughter, Sophie, was out brushing her bison, Titan, humming some pop song that sounded sweet only because she was singing it. Titan wasn't just livestock. Sophie had raised him from a calf no bigger than a Labrador, bottle-feeding him through brutal winters, hauling him to every county fair we could afford. He had ribbons, trophies, and a starring role in our family photos. He wasn't just part of the ranch, was part of us. But Linda Haverford had been sniffing around our land for months, like a vulture circling a carcass. Her HOA, Pinecrest Villas, was half a mile east, a shiny gated community full of city folks who thought a cow was just a big dog. Linda, though, acted like anything she could see from her cul-de-sac was hers to rule, including our ranch. She'd shown up 3 times in March alone, while VYing her clipboard, citing us for VY solely disruptive livestock. Apparently, Titan's existence clashed with her suburban fantasy. I told her, nice as I could, that Titan had more right to this land than her SUV, or her Pilates crew. She gave me a smile sharp as a razor and said she'd re-VYEW the matter, which in Linda speak meant she was already sharpening her knives. That Friday, trouble rolled in with a line of jacked-up trucks, out-of-state plates glinting in the sun. I watched from the porch, coffee mug frozen halfway to my mouth, a bad feeling crawling up my spine. We weren't hosting anybody. No one had business on our land unless they were lost or stupid. When the trucks slowed by the pasture gates, men in camo and neon vests spilling out, that bad feeling turned to dread. I yelled for Sophie, who was cleaning Titan's pen in the barn. She came running, boots kicking up dust. I grabbed my shotgun not loaded, but it made a point propped on my shoulder and we headed toward the chaos. The air reeked of cheap deer spray, chew spit, and ego. One hunter, a guy with a gut like a sack of feed and sunglasses fancier than my truck, waved a paper at me. Got our permits, buddy. He grinned, teeth gleaming. Permits for what? I asked, heat rising in my chest. To hunt your land. Paid good money. Lady in charge sold them. Then Linda stepped out of her white Escalade, dressed head to toe in camo, a trucker hat screaming, "Boss babe!" She sipped her coffee like this was a church picnic, not a crime scene in the making. "Morning, Mr. Callahan," she chirped. "Great day for community outreach, right?" Before I could spit a reply, a shot cracked from the south pasture. Sophie screamed. My mug hit the dirt, and I ran, the world blurring into a smear of fear, fences, grass, sky. By the time we reached the field, it was over. Titan lay still, his massive body crumpled, one dark eye staring at nothing. 2 hunters stood over him, rifles slung like they were posing for a magazine. I dropped to my knees, heart shattering. Sophie sobbed behind me, a raw, gutting sound that cut deeper than any blade. I touched Titan's warm hide and vowed someone would pay. Linda sauntered over, clipboard in hand, voice dripping fake sympathy. "I know you're upset, but per Section 7, subsection B of Pinecrest's wildlife policy, these gentlemen were within their rights. You have no jurisdiction here!" I roared, loud enough to scatter birds. One hunter flinched. Linda clutched her clipboard like a shield. "The Greater VY Soil Area falls under HOA Pro VY Science. Very official. You sold hunting permits on my land," I said, each word heavy as lead. She smiled, thin and cold. "And they paid well. It's community engagement." Sophie lunged forward, tears streaking her dusty face. "He was my best friend," she choked. For a split second, something flickered in Linda's eyes, guilt, maybe, but it vanished, replaced by smugness thick as tar. "I'm sure the HOA can discuss compensation," she said. "Now, please clear the area for our guests' hunting experience." It took every ounce of self-control not to lose it right there. Instead, I gripped Sophie's shoulder and whispered, "Not now." But inside, I swore Linda didn't know the first thing about Callahan's. This was far from over. The sheriff's office smelled like stale coffee and regret. Sheriff Tom sat behind his desk, twirling a paperclip like it was his life's work. I stood, fists tight, trying not to explode, while Sophie huddled in a chair, cheeks raw from crying. On the desk was Linda's permit, her loopy signature taunting us. Tom sighed like he'd rather be fishing. "Mike, I get you're mad, but HOAs are a mess. They've got their own rules, legal gibberish." "This isn't gibberish," I snapped. "It's fraud, trespassing, destruction of property, maybe poaching. Titan was Sophie's, raised from a calf, not some stray deer." Tom glanced at Sophie, her face crumpling at Titan's name. Something shifted in his eyes. "Duty, maybe." "All right," he grunted, standing. "I'll open a file. But I need more than a signed paper. Proof Linda knew she was wrong. Witnesses. Anything besides you being pissed." Sophie slammed a stack of photos on his desk. Titan at fairs, charity events, news clippings calling him Sophie's Miracle Bison. Proof he was ours, not a target. Tom whistled. "He was something. He was family," Sophie whispered, voice breaking. Tom promised to dig in, which meant maybe by next year if nothing bigger came up. I wasn't waiting. Outside, Sophie tugged my sleeve. "We can't let her win, Dad. Titan deserves better." That killed any thought of letting the law handle it. If justice was slow, we'd find another way. First, we needed Linda's paper trail. My neighbor, Mrs. Clara, was my ace. She spent her days spying from her porch, shotgun in one hand, iced tea in the other. She didn't blink when I showed up. "Heard about Titan. Damn shame," she said. "Linda's been yapping about wildlife management for months. Tried to get my grandson to sell raccoon permits." I told her about the fake permits, the hunters, Titan's death. Clara's mouth tightened. She handed me an envelope stuffed with HOA newsletters, emails, and a wildlife partnership proposal. "Burn her down," she said. That night, Sophie and I pored over the papers. Linda had been scheming for months, pitching exclusive hunting experiences to Pine Crest residents, framing it as eco-friendly conservation. She'd tricked city folks into paying thousands to shoot animals they couldn't name. Her rate card listed rabbits at $100, turkeys at $350, coyotes at $700, and a premium big game category, location and species disclosed after purchase. Titan was her jackpot. Linda hadn't just bent the law, she twisted it into a pretzel and sold it. We needed hard proof Linda knew she was selling access to our land. The chance came at the HOA's pancake breakfast, a monthly farce where neighbors faked nice over burnt flapjacks. Linda was center stage, wearing a community star sash like she was Miss Universe. Sophie and I blended in, plates in hand. Linda worked the crowd, handing out flyers for a spring hunt, hinting at a trophy animal nearby. It was so bold I almost forgot she was a criminal. When she was mid-pitch to some guys in fishing vests, I strolled up, grinning. "Hey, Linda, heard you're selling hunt permits. Might grab one." She blinked, then smiled, sharp as a snake. "Of course, Mr. Callahan. We've got a premium package, big game, very exclusive." "What kind?" I asked, baiting her. She leaned in, whispering, "Private stock, trophy quality. No pesky wildlife laws. All covered." Sophie, stirring her coffee nearby, hit record on her phone. "Gotcha." Linda rambled about payments and relocation plans. I nodded, stacking her words for the lawsuit I'd drop on her. We left with everything proof she was orchestrating illegal hunts, knowing it was our land, not caring who got hurt. By Monday, Operation Titan's Revenge was born. Not petty vengeance, but a sting to make Hollywood jealous. Sophie named it, and we weren't aiming for subtle. The goal: expose Linda, shame the hunters, and kill her fake hunt club before another animal died. We had the recording and papers, but we needed VY sole proof. I recruited a crew: Hank, our ranch hand who once built a catapult for fun, Tara, a drama teacher who owed me, and Clara, who showed up with a GoPro and moonshine. We rigged an old horse trailer with cameras, mics, and a fake Bison DK carnival prop, for scraps, and glowing red eyes Hank insisted on for flair. We set it in the field where Titan fell, then posted fake permit ads online as Wild Hunt 420. Messages poured in. Trophy bison still available? Can we bring beer? By Wednesday, we had a list of hunters for Linda's next curated hunt. Her email blast looked like a safari brochure, promising exclusive access and a meet and greet with her, now in a knockoff safari getup. Sophie and I watched from the house, stunned at her gall. She even offered a VIP hybrid elk from Canada. No one questioned how an HOA lady was smuggling wildlife. Sting Day arrived. I manned a drone. Hank rigged a trapdoor under the gate to drop a hunter into manure and glitter. Sophie prepped fake HOA pamphlets. Tara coached us like it was opening night. Sheriff Tom agreed to swing by if things got wild. Right on time, the trucks roared in, beer cans rattling. The hunters who killed Titan, Gary and Mitch, were back, wearing matching camo overalls and GoPros, ready for their close-up. Linda arrived last, in a feathered hat, barking orders like a game show host. Group A, Southeast Blind Big Specimen spotted. Group B, North Ridge. No shooting outside zones. One hunter asked. What if it charges? Linda grinned. Shoot first, ask later. Sophie signaled from the barn, activating the decoy bison. Mitch saw it, hooted, and ran, rifle bouncing. He hit the trapdoor, vanishing into glittery manure, screaming. Gary caught a paintball from Hank's hay bale turret. Linda yelled to stop, but my drones were rolling, and Sophie's live stream hit 12,000 viewers. The audio caught Linda ranting about HOA rules trumping laws. Then the kicker, a hunter asked. This land's yours, right? Linda snapped. Of course. I'm president. The rancher agreed last year. It's ours. Sheriff Tom pulled up, saw Mitch covered in glitter, watched the drone footage, and just took off his hat. That's a lot, he said. Linda stammered about misunderstandings and pilot programs, but when Clara yelled, Liar! And a neighbor threw a biscuit, the crowd roared. Tom cuffed Linda, Gary, and Mitch. Sophie and I started the chant. Justice for Titan. Linda's mugshot went viral, her feathered hat still on, yelling about HOA sovereignty. The internet turned her ditch stumble into a slow-mo meme. Fall of HOA tyrant. With 3 million VYUs. Gary and Mitch flipped, handing over emails and texts where Linda called our land a prime kill zone. News vans swarmed the ranch. Sophie got a TV segment, standing by the decoy bison, saying, He was my best friend. Donations flooded in Venmo, PayPal, even a quilt-wrapped check for the new Titan. We fixed the ranch, got a new barn roof, and Sophie found a sanctuary with an orphan bison calf. She named him Blaze, not a replacement, but a new start. Pine Crest disowned Linda, rebranded as Serenity Hills, and her house hit the market. From jail, she tried organizing inmates into cell committees, earning solitary for soap complaints. Sophie spoke at a county meeting, sparking new laws. No HOA could touch private land without notarized consent. A letter came from Linda, vowing to return stronger. We framed it in the barn, next to Titan's ribbons, our trophy of petty. The ranch found peace. Blaze followed Sophie everywhere. At sunset, we'd walk the fields, sky burning orange. Sophie asked, Think she's really coming back? I shrugged. Let her try. We've got bison, and they've got horns. The wind whispered through the grass, and the ranch stood free.